What's up, my friends? I am very excited for today's tarot readings. I felt like switching it up and doing something a bit more lighthearted. Not that I feel like my readings are ever heavy, but I just felt really inspired. You know, on TikTok they do there's a lot of people that do these POVs, these point of view videos. Whatever, it's really fun. So I was like, oh my god, what if I did a tarot POV of what happens when this person walks into a party. And I feel like depending on what energies come through during the readings will determine what kind of party y'all be going to, because I know I got some mystics, I've got some extraterrestrials, I got a mixed batch tuning into my readings. So I just thought it would be really fun to see what their first impression is of you guys, and then what happens when they start to talk to you and engage more in conversation with you. So without any more talking, let's get into it. You have 4 piles to choose from today. I hope that wasn't too loud. Sometimes I'd be talking too loud, you guys, and when I go back to edit this, it literally, the camera cannot register my voice, and it glitches out because I'm too loud. So maybe I just need to turn it down because I'd be getting excited sometimes. All right, let's get into these readings. What's up, group number 1? So we're going to just jump into this energy together. I've not turned over any of your cards. Just know that I've separated this into 2 different piles. So we have a little less cards for people's first impression, and then we're going to get into a little bit more detail within, okay, what really comes online, how, accurate their first impression was or was not within these readings. So you should, I don't know, we're kind of on this journey together because this is the first time I've done this type of reading before, but just bear with me, all right? So pile number 1, you walk into a party. You're walking into a party, okay? Pile number 1, let's see how you're received. Let's see what the first person who sees you, or notices you, I should say, let's see what they think. So first we have Whale. I'm just going to turn over all of the cards. Yeah, okay. Wise One, grow within your current situation. And then we have Rejoice in Celebration. All right, so first impression of my pile number 1s is pile number 1 looks like a good time. All right, and take that as you want to. But pile number 1 seems like there's someone that you could talk to about just about anything. Pile number 1 seems like someone that, they're throwing cups up. So pile number 1 might even look like someone that likes to throw it back, if you know what I mean. That could be interpreted many different ways. But one who is really fun to be around. Pile number 1, people see you and they're like, wow, this person looks like a lot of fun, but at the same time, this person looks like they have a lot of depth to them. There's this very carefree attitude that people recognize about you, or that people pick up from you. You seem very carefree, but at the same time, you don't seem childish. There's a very mature air about you. Yeah, we have the crow and the owl, to me, represent both someone that sees right through bullshit with the crow, and the owl is just someone that is really chill to be around, someone that, again, doesn't really judge people very much. You seem very approachable. People see pile number 1 walk into a room, they're like, I want to go talk to this person. I feel like it's instantly, and they're just waiting for the right time to come over and introduce themselves to you. But ultimately, they're like, this person feels like they have a lot of depth. This person feels like, they see right through bullshit. I feel like there might be some sense of an intimidation factor, but and then we'll get deeper into your cards, but I feel like that's probably very quickly neutralized when they just come up to you and start to talk to you, because yeah, for some of you, you come across as someone that knows how to have a good time, has a lot of fun. I'm hearing something about your laugh. There's something about your laugh that really stands out to people. And you smile with your eyes, right? You smile with your eyes. You communicate a lot with your eyes and your body language. I'm hearing the way that you dress might be very unique. It might be very different. Things that you do to your hair might be very different, very unique. You just seem like a very unique individual. You definitely stand out wherever you go. And there's something about your voice too. You have maybe you have a deeper voice. Even if you're a woman, maybe your voice is just very soothing. With this whale card here, but I feel like if anything, you have a very booming voice, or just like when you speak, people like tend to listen because your auric field just is infused with codes of like such incredibly deep wisdom. But I feel like also you just have a very commanding presence, a very commanding voice of like, okay, this person has something to say. Or, you know, there's two different places that when we speak from, you can really tell where someone is residing in when they're speaking from the pitch of their voice. And this is something I learned as a fitness instructor, believe it or not. So there's something that's called the head voice, and there's something that's called the chest voice. So people that are kind of just like regurgitating what they've already heard before, or aren't very confident in what they're saying, their voice will tend to be like very pitchy and very like up here. And I didn't mean to sound like a valley girl, but that's just like the best representation I can do. And then people that are just like very confident in speaking from a place that's coming from their internal wellspring. So from like a sense of internal depth and authentic depth, they will speak from more of the chest. Like it will have this vibration and this undertone of, it'll feel very grounding, and it just feels very authentic and like you can trust it. So I feel like you are pile number 1. You have a much more like chest voice when you speak. You're just like real, and people are like, okay, I want to get to know this person more. So, all right. So you're very inviting so far, pile number 1. So let's say someone comes over and like starts to speak to pile number 1. What would they then think of their conversation with you? Wait, hold on. Is there anything else I want to say on here? Yeah, you just look like a hell of a lot of fun. I don't want to like brush over the first impression, because I feel like it can be really fun to see like people's first impression of us and how in or out of alignment it could be with the way things actually are, like how we're actually feeling. So I don't want to brush over that, but I feel like we'll get more detail, more insight, the deeper we dive. Yeah. See what happened there. See what spirit did there. All right, so let's get into it. What is really going on? Spiritual union. Oh yeah. Okay. So, I mean, everything that people feel like their first impression of you is absolutely confirmed when they get to talk to you. Like, people feel like they are absolutely seen when they're in your presence. That's definitely one of a mark of a very old soul, and I was getting that with this Wise One card, is that there's not this air of judgment about old souls, and old souls tend to see a lot within a single incarnation to kind of catch them back up to speed with just like the duality of things. And your souls aren't overwhelmed by polarity. So what I mean by that our old souls aren't overwhelmed by the stark contrast between the amount of light that can exist within one planetary system and the amount of dark and denseness that can exist within a planetary system. So sometimes old souls, to catch them back up to speed with the wisdom that they've gained throughout many lifetimes, as they will kind of like see a lot and go through a lot and kind of be neutralized to that polarity spectrum. So by the time they're really an autonomous being, there's not this air of judgment. It really is like, come as you are. And I'm seeing with you, pile number 1, like people start conversing with you, people meet you in conversation, and they're like, this is like, I wouldn't be surprised, pile number 1, if when people start to really get to talk to you on a deep level, people are like instantly fall in love with you. And I am hearing too, even people that are like the same sex as you, or like even your closest friends, that y'all could be straight as ever, but I feel like even your like, or you know, whatever, you guys can be completely not interested, but it's like you are someone that they're like, wow, these qualities that I see in pile number 1 would be so great to find in a partner or in like a lover, like a long-term romantic thing. It's like, I feel like people fall in love with you very easily, pile number 1. And again, it's just, you just have this very receptive and welcoming aura about you. And yeah, it's like you see through people's bullshit, but I feel like you're very direct and very blunt, but the way that you deliver things, the way that you speak, it's like, it doesn't come across as like you're condescending or you're talking someone down. It really just comes across of like, you see something that might be misaligned, or you see like where someone's operating, their levels of perception. And so you just help them tweak it so they're able to see it from a much more expanded level. And so they can like feel more freedom and you know, freedom of their own self-expression and more comfortable in their own skin. But yeah, I'm hearing that you are very comfortable in your skin. You carry yourself very well. People feel like they have known you before with this infinity sign. People feel like they've like had like past lives with you if they believe in that type of thing. But there's definitely this air of recognition when people start to talk to you, and they already sense that when they look at you. When they see you walk into this party, they're like, wow, this person, I'm so drawn to this person. They look like so much fun, but then they also look like they can really hold a conversation and they can really be real. It's like you have this beautiful balance, my pal number ones, between knowing when to have a good time, like work hard, play harder kind of thing. And I feel like you guys are the type of beings where you've done a lot of self-reflection. You've done a lot of exploring of yourself, your own depths, your own shadow. So I have one more animal spirit card, and then we're going to get more details with the tarot. So yeah, Swan, I mean, this is like the ultimate card of just like people like truly see themselves in you. I feel like you're an incredible mirror for other people. I feel like this is too why people tend to fall in love with you very easily. Pile number one is because you just have this air about you that people feel so accepted, like more so accepted by you than their own selves. I feel like many people, until they've met you, they haven't really come across people that really embody close states of like what true unconditional love is, and truly like receiving other people. Like, you know, Ram Dass would often say, like, when you go into a forest and you see trees that are all bent out of shape and they're all different sizes and different shapes, you don't judge one tree and be like, that tree should look more like that tree. He's like, you just see trees and you appreciate the tree and all of its treeness. And he's like, but then you get around humans and then all of a sudden this person needs to change this about themselves. This person's not perfect here. This person's not right here. Right. And he's like, just see people as trees. Right. And so, but I feel like pile number one, you do that holistically because those codes like already exist within you. You've had many different types of incarnations where you've played all different parts. So deep down, you're like, who am I to judge? Because you recognize that you have all aspects. You have light and shadow in you, and you've just been under different circumstances in this lifetime, different things to help cultivate more of your light side, right? When I'm getting overall, people are like, this person's very creative. I'm hearing that you're very good with your words overall, like very open throat, very good with your words, very keen, very perceptive of like what's really going on beneath the surface of other people. I feel like you're able to draw out the depths of other people too. And most people are like, when they start to talk to you, they're actually quite surprised by this, because I am getting again that you are like, there's something very physically appealing about you, or something that stands out like physically in whatever body shape you are, whatever form you take. There's something about like, I feel like people think it's a physical attraction at first, and then they're like, whoa, like, they're like, let me be honest, I was attracted to you because physically you're just like so beautiful, but then I got to know you and it was just your energy. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if y'all already be hearing stuff like this. Like, it was just your energy and I fell in love even more, right? So I feel like there's something very physically alluring about you, very striking about your eyes that really does continue to come through. Like, you tell a lot behind your eyes, or maybe your eye contact is just very powerful and speaks a lot. Or just like says a lot for you. But there's a lot of like mystery behind your eyes. But also people, even though people tend to kind of pedestal you, I feel like when they start having a conversation with you, they feel so put at ease. They're like, oh my God, pile number one is so down to earth. Like, pile number one is so cool. Like, I'm so like, they're pleasantly surprised that someone that could exist and be such an embodiment of like divinity and such an embodiment of beauty, but then also be like such a real ass person. Like, I want to hang out with you guys. Yeah, people, the more that they talk to you, people see that you've been through a lot with this death card. You've gone through a lot of cycles of transformation. You have been through a lot to be who you are now. You're someone that doesn't really fuck around. I feel like you're someone that, like, you've had no choice. I feel like people get to know, like, oh, this person has had no choice but to, like, reach this level of emotional, mental, spiritual, in some cases, maturity in order to kind of survive, and in order to just, like, operate on this earth plane. Because I am hearing that some of you have definitely been through some experiences that could have taken quite a bit of toll on your self-esteem in the past, and quite a bit of toll just on your ability to, like, truly open up and receive love. So the fact that you guys are so, like, your hearts are so open and you're such compassionate beings, I mean, is such that's such a mark of your wisdom and such a mark of your strength, if anything, because this depth is not an accident. This comes from going through many cycles and losing people to actual death, to like physical death and decay, And then also just like, I feel like you guys rapidly evolve and transform. And so there's many people and many situations you have to leave behind as you do so. And people really see this. Yeah, people see you as someone who's very like responsible. The more that they talk to you, they're like, pile number one is extremely responsible. They do a lot. They're like, how does this person have so many resources available to them to do all that they do? How does this person have the energetic resources to do all that they do? But I feel like you guys are just they learn very quickly that you just have your priorities straight, and you don't, as best as you can, you don't waste your energy on petty bullshit, right? Like there's just very this air about you that is so chill, and that you just like give like mad big brother, big sister vibes, but at the same time it's like people be falling in love with you by pile number one. So you guys are like the ideal partner, the ideal soulmate, the ideal friend. Like I'm getting this sense of like deep loyalty to people. So I feel like people are like, oh my god, this person is like really here for their people. Like you don't just like talk the talk, you walk the walk. Pile number one. Yeah, justice. What were we just saying? It's like you are someone that I feel like you really show up for the people that people don't even have to. I feel like you, pile number one, you give everyone the benefit of the doubt, is what I'm feeling here. You give everyone the benefit of the doubt, and you are extremely loyal until, right? It's like until someone does something to cross you. And this isn't like, again, not petty bullshit, but this is like until someone really does something that shows you they're maybe not at the place of maturity to where they will be able to meet you in the realms that you have transcended into, right? So this is not like, okay, now you're my enemy. It's just like, what's that Tupac phrase of like, yeah, like I want to see my enemies eat too, just not at my table. That kind of thing. I feel like that's the type of maturity that you guys have about you. You come across very balanced. I feel like the scales have tipped for you in terms of I feel like the way that you walk into a room is like your shoulders are back, your head is high. You're like just scanning your environment. Like you come across so balanced, and I feel a big part of why you really own who you are, and you're just really like, yeah, I'm a fucking walk like this. Like I'm gonna walk with my chin held high, and I'm gonna be lighthearted because like you finally like deeply feel like you are worthy of it. I feel like there's a point where maybe you kind of knew that you had a lot to offer, but you didn't deeply feel it. I feel like those scales have tipped to where you are embodying it. You are embodying these levels of worthiness because it's like you have been through a lot. It's like nothing can really keep you down. So what is there really to be afraid of? It's like you're like, I've seen worse. And so I feel like people are very pleasantly surprised by like they're like pleasantly surprised by how many friends you have, but at the same time they're like, but your circle is where it's at because like you don't allow leakages, right? You like people within your closest circle really have to be in a place within themselves where they're really accountable for they're accountable for their own levels of perception, so they're not projecting it at you, right? So it's like I wouldn't be surprised if you're around people that are like, hey, like I was triggered by this. I know it's not necessarily you, but like I was triggered by something you did. So if like my energies are off, just know it was because I was triggered. But like mad love for you. Maybe I'm gonna go to my corner of the globe and just like deal with this for a little bit. And if I feel guided to bring it up to you and talk to you about it, then let's do it. But if not, like I know at the end of the day, this is my bullshit. I feel like that's the type of level of like accountability you expect from people in your closest circle, and people pick this up from you when they're deeper in conversation. They see that you have very mature people around you, that you expect really mature people to be around you, like emotional maturity, spiritual maturity, mental maturity, and that, you know, it's not this thing of like you're gonna cast judgment on someone for showing their ass, but it's like at the end of the day, it's like I feel like there's not many people, pile number one, that really get to see like your deepest insecurities and that really get to see the deepest depths of you, because, you know, I'm not like this is not gassing you up in any way, but I'm truly just feeling like a lot of people can't meet you at the level of depth that you have unearthed within yourself. So you know, it's very rare that I feel like you actually feel like you're being met fully, but you can meet most people like exactly where they're at. So the last card, we have King of Swords coming up. So yeah, you're very perceptive, very, very, very perceptive. And again, this also reminds me of the Justice card. So I feel like like, you're not worried about, like, man's sense of justice. I feel like you understand karma, or there's a deeper part of you that's like, okay, I don't know why you're doing this, or I don't know why people show up the way that they do, but I like, for the most part, pile number one, people feel like you give other people the benefit of the doubt, and you kind of let their own actions and their own behaviors kind of like speak for themselves. And yeah, there's so much here with the Wise One and the King of Swords. It's like, you, again, we can't get more about, like, you have so much depth to you, and you just reside in, like, you just see things from a much higher place than many, many people. You are very perceptive. You cut through the bullshit. I mean, that came through, like, in the very beginning of, like, when, like, you help people fine-tune their perceptions, right? That's, like, I feel like the ultimate King and Queen of Swords are people that are able to fine-tune their levels of perception. And I mean, there's also so much coming through here about how wise you are. So I feel like when people really get to talk to you, they're like, everything that they see about you is like further confirmed. They're like, this is one of the most confident people I've ever met. This is one of the most beautiful people I've ever met. And true confidence, let's get that. True confidence is like, I feel like you don't try to hide your flaws. You don't try to dance around or like come across that you're perfect. And that's true confidence, right? It's vanity is when we're trying to like tweak ourselves, and like what vanity is when we're trying to like only show a certain part of ourselves, or we're like, and again, you're not like putting TMI out there. That's not what I'm getting at, but it's like, you're just so accepting of yourself and your journey is really what I'm trying to get at. And because of that, that comes across very confident, because there's nothing about you that you're really ashamed of. You're just like, this is my story. This is my journey this time around, right? And there's a very lighthearted air about you, even in the midst of very pressing circumstances, or when things are like very chaotic, and when most people would be like throwing in the towel, you're just like, like, here we go again. You know, there's just this very lighthearted air about whatever you're meeting, whatever is coming your way. And I feel like it's because there's like a deep, 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 deep wellspring of wisdom that you draw forth from, that you draw upon. And yeah, and it's your truth. I'm getting that this is definitely like, you speak from a place with that chest voice we were talking about. You speak from a place where it's like very clear, like, this is your wisdom. And, you know, we're all like, this is a shared screen, you know, this collective consciousness, we're all going to influence each other, and we're all going to help fine-tune each other's perceptions. But at the end of the day, I feel like you've really tapped into something that is very authentic to you. And the scales have tipped in terms of, like, this person doesn't take their cues or what they do and what they believe from the outside in. It's like, no, does this feel right to pile number one? And people really admire that. Like, that is such a mark of like a very extremely wise and very confident individual, because you've touched that wellspring within, you've touched that God within, that innermost self, right? So this is beautiful. I could honestly go on about what people, like, their first impression and what they get from you, because I feel like it's never ending. Like, you're just this never ending multifaceted being that has so many aspects to you. And yeah, I feel like people cannot get enough of you. People can't get enough of your energy, no matter if it's they met you just once. They're like, what's pile number one doing after this? You know, what's pile number one doing next lifetime too? Like, that kind of thing. So beautiful energies. I'm just so grateful. I'm feeling good that I get to read for people like this. Okay, I'm gonna let that mean something about me. All right, pile number one, thank you for being here. Many blessings on your journey. Please comment below if it resonates. Please give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you've been here before, and I hope I see you soon. What it do, pile two? That was not planned, but that flew. Oh. Okay, so I hope that wasn't too loud. Sometimes I'll like be screaming. I don't know if I skip past the intro, so I don't always get this, but sometimes I talk too loud and like the mic can't register like the octave that I hit, and so it'll like glitch out. So I'm sorry if that happened. Okay, pile number two. I have your cards here. I haven't looked at any of your cards. So your first impression, so you're going to be walking into this party. We're going to see what people think of you, first of all. So there's only 3 cards for that. But then we have a wellspring of like details once people start having a conversation with you. Okay, so pile number one was off the hook. Okay, I had so much fun doing that. So I'm excited to get into this with you. So POV, pile number 2 is walking into a party. The first person that notices you, really notices you, what do they think? Okay, so pile number 2 walks in and they're like, this person has the key to my heart. This person has the key to my lower chakras too, if you are picking up what I'm putting down. They're like, I'm just gonna be real. This is a human fucking experience, and I am, for, you know, personally, I I'm, you know, very real about if I'm with a partner, I know other people are going to find other people attractive. I'm literally into like free relationships, open relationships, you do you, boo boo kind of thing. But pile number 2 walks in and partners are like, you better not be looking over there more than once. You see how his head's kind of turning? And so I feel like you are like, if other people, like regardless of if someone is single or if they're with a partner, it's like, they're like, pile 2 is a snack. And is there fruit punch available? Because the thirst has just gotten really real when pile number 2 has walked in. So I feel like there's there's something very physically alluring about you. Also, it could be things in your astrological chart as well. So if you like do have a lot of Scorpio in significant placements, that could be one thing, or just like maybe, you know, just like fire signs in general. There's something very magnetic about you. You draw people in. I just saw 222 on the clock. You draw people in, and yeah, I feel like that people's first impression of you is like, I want to sexual heal in Marvin Gaye, is just what I'm gonna say. People are like, pile number 2 looks very healing, if you catch my drift, and I feel like I'm in need of a healing, if you catch my drift. Okay, I don't do 18 plus yet, but we'll see where life takes me. It surprises me. So, okay, so first of all, yeah, you're very just like, you are tempting. You are very like sexually attractive. People might even also instantly be like, there's something about you, like almost like very karmic energy of like people just cannot help but want to be in your field and want to be in your presence. So right away you walk in and people are like, you're turning heads, okay? So what else is coming through? High Priest, intend and create. I'm going to get into the last card too. We have Panther. Okay, so yeah, you are very striking. I'm getting very striking, like physical features. There's most certainly something about your guys' eyes that stand out here. But also it's like, you are like a temptress. You are like a seductress. You are like, this is what people, and I'm saying, again, remember, pile 2, this is like what people think of you. This is their first impression of you. Okay, so this might not be how you even think of yourself, but they're like, people see you and they assume that you are in a high position, they assume that you are like a boss of something, if not an entrepreneur. They assume that you're doing something creative, that you're doing something where your looks are a big part of like why you're so successful. That's not to say that they don't also acknowledge that you have something very captivating about your voice or your message or what you embody. But again, this is first impression. People are just like, this person is very attractive. This person is very sensual. Does this person like pole dance? Does this person like do sexy things? Does this person like have an OnlyFans? Like, you know, that kind of thing, honestly, is what's coming through. And I just come here to be the messenger. So do not please shoot the messenger, okay? That's for some of you. But then also people just assume you just have a very powerful presence. So people are like, if anything, they just assume that you are like the CEO of a company, honestly, or that you're doing big things, you're making big moves. I just saw 444 when I looked up too. So lots of synchronicities about you and around you. Like people, like, I feel like you're the type of person that people want to see out again. They're like, I hope I run into this person again. Or like, how do I get in this person's field again? But yeah, there's a lot about, with this intend and create, I feel like you have a lot of sexual energy, a lot of potent sexual kundalini energy. So that's what makes, you know, that's literally the energy that creates the entire cosmos. And so you have a lot of it. You definitely have a lot of it to go around. And so I feel like people just assume you're creative, naturally creative. They're like, wow, this person is very attractive. I could look at this person all day. But then there's this element too where you're kind of feisty. Pile number 2, like, I feel like people don't come at you uncorrect. There's something in your energy field that's like, come correct or do not come at all. And again, I'm just getting like, even just when I tap into your energy, I feel like a motherfucking siren. I just feel like I know who the fuck I am. It's this energy of like, just boldness. There's so much here that's pile number 2. You just scream bold. You are so bold. When you step into a room, when you walk into a room, and it's like people too also, yeah, I'm getting this sense of like, there's a lot here with this Eye of Horus coming through. There's a lot here about like psychic abilities too. So, you know, that also is, you know, Scorpio is known to be the most psychic of all of the zodiacs. Out of all of the zodiacs, even if you're not Scorpio, I feel like people are just like, you feel very, like you see what's really going on beyond the surface. Yeah, because these nocturnal creatures, right? Panthers are nocturnal creatures. And so when most people, and the areas that most people do not thrive or cannot see, it's like, you are very comfortable in the darkness. You are very comfortable in the Shadowlands, especially because we have the devil and the panther. It's like, I'm getting very Lilith vibes. Like, you are very comfortable in your shadow. There's nothing that you're hiding from. Right? And because of this, I feel like that's one of the reasons it can be so alluring and so magnetic, is a lot of people don't know how to approach their shadow from a healthy standpoint. It seems like you guys have really, that's one of the reasons why you're such a powerful creator. Like, this shadow, when we embrace our shadow aspects, that gives us access to so much more of our power. And I feel like that could be one of the reasons why it's so shamed on our planet, is because once people really tap into that and utilize it as the creative force that it is, then they really become forces to be reckoned with. But PAL 2, it's like, people can say so much based off their first impression, but, first and foremost, it's like super physically attractive. Very physically attractive, very magnetic. People assume you're a boss. People assume you're really, you really got your shit going on, and people don't want to come at you uncorrect. So if, like, you're like, okay, I'm very attractive, yeah, Marissa, cool, like, that's believable, no one ever talks to me, it's because you're fucking this. Or people, okay, that was a weird string of words, the way I strung it together. I digress. It's because, like, your energy screams this, right? And so there might be a huge intimidation factor. So if people are like, see PAL 2 walk in and you're like, okay, all right, I'm feeling myself too. I do look really good tonight too. Thank you, everyone. The reason why it might take a while for someone to actually approach you, or maybe it takes like a few drinks or a few kava bowls or whatever you're sipping on, cacao bowls, whatever. It's like people are really mustering up the courage and the confidence to come over and talk to my PAL number 2. So when people finally do talk to you, when they've gotten the courage and when they're like, okay, it seems like a really open opportunity, what do they see? Yeah. PAL number 2. So you make people very nervous, most certainly. Yeah, it's so funny because the first thing that I was drawn to with the owls is like big eyes and like no mouth, and so maybe that's like people are like this, like people just stare at you, or they don't really know what to say, they don't know how to say it. They're like, God, I feel like people can get frustrated with themselves too. When they're talking to you, PAL number 2, because they're like, I'm so cool. They're like, I'm so cool. I have so much I can offer, but PAL number 2 just makes me so nervous. Like, this individual just makes me so nervous. They're so powerful. I've never met someone that, like, holds so much power. And yeah, I feel like, yeah. Let's get deeper into it. But what was coming through is like, this type of power can be dangerous. It can most certainly be misused. But I feel like you don't. PAL number 2, we're going to get deeper into it because there is this air of wisdom that people like pick up from you. It's like on the surface, you're just like this very beautiful and very alluring person that people are very sexually attracted to. You're really in tune with your sensuality. But then beneath it, it's like you're so wise, and I feel like you're very coy with your words, very witty, and so I feel like you really keep people on their toes, PAL number 2. And like people don't expect, sometimes you say things that people don't expect. There's like this playful element too that I'm also getting with you. Like, you don't take it so seriously. You don't take yourself so seriously. That's definitely the mark of like wisdom, is like, all right, you can know you got it going on, but at the end of the day, you're like, I'm just a fucking human like anyone else, right? So I feel like people, people get very nervous. Like, people feel like what they bring to you in this state when they first meet you especially is like not a good and accurate reflection of who they truly are, but it's because there's so much going on. Your field is so powerful, and so you shake to the surface like inconsistencies in other people's personalities. You shake to the surface inconsistencies with like who they think they are. Because there's this element of like deep transformation you guys have gone through, and deeply understanding and knowing your shadow. And so I feel like that just can throw people off. Yeah, there's these 2 nocturnal creatures that are coming through here. Right, so there is so much here about you've gained so much wisdom, you've gained so much of this alluring, attractive quality. I feel like you consistently glow up energetically. I feel like you've probably always been attractive, but like the more that you like get to know yourself, I feel like this is like people would stalk pile number 2's social media after meeting them and see how quickly you transform and how much you transform. This could be physical appearance as well, but after they like leave your presence, they're like, people just want to know more about you. People are literally stalking your social medias and like trying to get more about like, who is this person? Who is this like heaven sent person? But yeah, it's like you're the full package. I feel pile number 2. You have a lot of the physicality. You have a lot of that like that, desire, some almost like borderline lustful thing quality about you. And then you also have this where you keep people on their toes intellectually as well. And people are like, wow, this person is like very that's that. I'm not expecting this from pile number 2. Let's see what else they get from you. So we have the Chariot. It's coming up in reverse. It's the only card that came up in reverse. So I always take a mental note. Yeah, people have to pump the brakes. I feel like people really have to consciously be like, whoosah, like center yourself, come back to yourself. People have to really consciously like pump the brakes, because I feel like this has a lot to do more so with the realms of like the bedroom. People like really want to get you there quick, and I feel like we're all adults here. I hope if you're under 18, you would have clicked out by now. But yeah, you guys are very, very alluring. And I feel like people just really have to really catch themselves when they're in conversation with you. They're like, they are in other fantasies. They're here. If people's eyes tend to do this when you're talking to them, it's because they're somewhere else in their mind. They are somewhere else where they know they shouldn't be, okay? And so I feel like they really have to pump the brakes and be like, okay, just talk to this person, just be human. There's a lot. You guys are powerful. You guys are so powerful. Sometimes y'all be hitting me up in my DMs and I'm like, okay, you definitely chose this, and this pile. Like, I can only imagine like the type of energy you guys command and just like what you look like, because there's a lot here about like physical appearance, like things about hair being very beautiful, being on point with your jewelry, being on point with just like the energy is there, everything is there, okay? And so people want to know if they can take you there, okay? Performance anxiety. I'm hearing performance anxiety. Okay, and so 5 of Wands. So yeah, you stir up a lot of internal conflict. People assume, I feel like there's 2 things that are coming through. So I feel like people are like fighting for your attention, or like on one hand, it's like you might have people that it's hard to, depending on what time of the night people catch you in. It's like there's this intimidation factor depending on the setting, depending on what, right? And it might be that some people have a hard time approaching you and you feel like, all right, you're like, all right, should I just go? I should have stayed home. I knew I should have stayed home tonight. But then there's other, like, depending on like how comfortable people are in their own skin and what type of setting, right? What type of like party or gathering it is. I feel like on another hand, there's like people begging for your attention and just like, I just see people doing flips around you. And I think, I feel like what Spirit is just saying is like people want to show off, or people like want to be the one that like peacocking. People peacock for pile number 2's attention, whether it's energetically, whether it's like, oh, these are the things that I know. Or like, these are the people that I know, or this is what I do in my spare time, and I have a hot air balloon, and I've been to Dubai, and that kind of thing. Like people just really wanting to impress my pile number 2. Let's see what else we have coming through. We have 5 of Cups. Oh gosh, I'm gonna have to edit out my phlegmy ass cough because I'm still recovering, but they're like, and I would let pile number 2 break my heart. Yeah, I feel like you are definitely someone your presence is missed when you leave. So if someone has a conversation with you, it's like people could just soak in your energy right there. That's that devil energy that I was really feeling, that I was picking up on when I said in the beginning it feels karmic, because people are like, when they're not in your presence, when they're not in your energy, they like they really miss it. They pine for it. When you're focusing on other people, when you're focusing on the other cups, and not them, they like feel like, oh, like, am I not good enough? But I just feel like you're just very neutral within yourself, and you're just like, all right, same shit, different day, okay? But yeah, I feel like you're definitely someone that people like want to see again. They want to be in your presence again. They want to get to know you more. Sometimes people can like really beat up on themselves when they leave. They're like, why the fuck did you say that? Why the fuck did you say that to pal number 2? Why would you say that? And like, why did you make a fool out of yourself? Meanwhile, you don't care. I really feel like pal number 2, you're just like, I feel like you guys might be used to people like showing their asses in front of you, or like weird behaviors coming out, because there's just like so much of an intimidation factor. Who are you guys? Factor that you're just like kind of used to it. And I feel like it takes a lot for you to like be like, oh, have I met my match, you know? But yeah, you're someone that people would like want to travel to. They're like, I would go to the ends of the earth for pal number 2, and to just like be in their space again, to be in their presence again. But there is that, yeah, there's more of that fire energy. There's a lot of fire, very powerful, like very powerful, forthcoming type of energy that people want to explore with you on all the different realms. I feel like too, when people are having a deeper conversation, you seem like you're well traveled. You know, this kind of like accentuates the owl card even more, but you just seem like you know a lot about different cultures, about like maybe even different religions. I'm hearing you just seem very well read and or well traveled. You're just like intellectually you hold your own, and physically you hold your own, and just like I feel like yeah, it takes a lot. I just was drawn to the fact that there's 2 wands here, and this person is holding on to this wand. So I feel like it takes a lot for you to actually be like it takes a lot for someone to stand out, to be the wand that you are grabbing here, that you reach for, that you grab for. And a lot of the times I feel like you find yourself doing this. You like have to ward people off like energetically and on different levels. And I feel like too with the Chariot in reverse, it's like a lot of people do hold themselves back holistically, because they're like, wow, this person just probably has so many people. Like, I feel like you probably wouldn't actually know how many people, like, fantasize about you, and how many people actually do want to, like, get to know you on a deeper level, because people assume that you're just, like, your DMs are flooded, and that you just, like, have so many, like, suitors, so many people that they would have to fight off, but meanwhile not knowing that everyone else is assuming that about everyone else, and so they're, like, really holding back. Like, to respect you, pal number 2, they're really holding back because they really want to respect you. They see that you're, like, a very rare gem that they don't want to have passed them by, but then also it's because so they respect you, but then they also assume that you have so many other people, and it's like they don't want to just be another person like that to you in your eyes. Like, they don't want to be another person that like throws themselves at pal number 2. They don't want to be another person that is like just seems like they're in it just for one thing. Like, again, there was that come correct, that people, when they're really serious about you, when they're really, really serious, and some people just like don't have it in them, like they're just like bless their hearts, because there's just so much depth to you, and your codes are so expansive, they're so powerful that I feel like it brings out this like very instability, kind of insecure thing, insecure aspect. You might have like Venus and Libra or something, to where it's like you attract people, or it seems like there's a lot of people that come to you that seem insecure, but it's like you're so comfortable with your shadow, you have to be aware that you're going to draw shadow aspects out of other people that are unintegrated, because what is remained healed in your field cannot help but like what is unhealed in the fields of other people will be brought to the surface. So it's not even like a judgmental thing or anything. We're not out here judging anyone's journey. That's not what I'm here for at all. But I feel like it's like, I feel like people can like act outside of their highest wisdom because they can't help it. It's like this, again, that very karmic type of energy. It's like they can't help it. And so I feel like when the people are very serious, when there are people that are very serious about you and can keep up with you, they don't want to be just another person, right? They don't just want to act the same way everyone else is acting towards you, because they really see you as someone that they would travel the ends of the earth for if you gave them a chance, right? So there's a lot here. I feel like a lot came through about lovers, right? And just like the sexual attraction, but you make a really great friend too. And there might even be things there too where it takes someone who is also like the same sex as you, who is very confident and very established in themselves, because otherwise there's a lot of jealousy, there's a lot of comparison, there's a lot of insecurity. But I feel like ultimately there's a lot here that like you are here for your people. And when someone is really established within themselves to the extent and the degree that you are or are becoming, that makes way for like such great playfulness and like power couples, power friends, power couples, power everything. So pile number 2, thank you so much for gracing me with your energy. This was beautiful to tune into. If this resonated, please give this video a thumbs up. Please comment down below if that resonates too, and I hope I see you soon. All right, pile 3, these have been so fun. I'm so excited to see what people's first impression is of you when you walk into a party, and then POV when they start to actually get to know you, okay? So I haven't looked at any of your cards yet. We're going to do that real time. So the first impression is going to be, we only have 3 cards for that, but we have a lot more detail coming through when people actually start to talk to you. So these have been so fun. Let's see what we get into now. So pile number 3, you walk into a party. We're not sure what kind of party it is yet, okay? The energies will tell us more. But you walk into a party, and so this is the first person that really takes notice of you. This is their first impression. We have hope. Okay, I'm going to start with this one because so much is coming through here. You shine. They're like, pile number 3 looks like a star. Pile number 3 looks like you have so much light about you. People are drawn to you. I mean, you have a very strong auric field. Like, literally, it's like when I say people are drawn to you, like, literally, they, like, will start to gravitate just to be next to you, just to be near to you, even if they don't know what to say or how to say it. It's like, I just saw, like, someone that was, like, very kind of, like, bashful and awkward, just, like, be like, hey, so here I am. Like, your field beckoned me to you. But pile number 3, I feel like people's first impression is like, this person shines. You stand out in a sea of people. Man, I got some powerful, I love you guys. Thank you for being here. This is so cool to read for, man. Okay, let's continue before I digress. So, yeah, you stand out. People assume that you are of someone that, like, is some sort of leader. I am hearing something about fitness or yoga or something. Like, your physical body looks like very in shape, looks very physically well kept. And yeah, you walk with your chest out. There's a little person in the center of this that's just like beaming open. So you have very open body posture, very open body language. Like you carry your chin high, or there's something very significant about your stature, the way that you walk, that people remember. But ultimately, you seem very approachable. You seem very open. There's not, like, pile number 2 had a huge fucking intimidation factor, like, where people were like, I can't approach pile 2. But this is, like, very warming, very welcoming, and people are like, I just am so gravitated to you. Is this person from this planet? This is the star card, right? Is this also the star card? Yeah. Like, can I, yeah. You seem like hell sent. Hell sent? I'm sorry. Maybe for some of you, you seem hell sent. But just because you be disrupting people's fields. But so funny. Oh my God, it's got jokes. But yeah, you seem very heaven sent. Moon card, take note of intuitive messages. So yeah, I feel like you come across as someone that's very intuitive. You read the room very well. I feel like people have a very intuitive connection with you. So what I mean by that is, like, people make, like, a lot of eye contact with you first, or, like, people feel like you're trying to communicate with them through eye contact, or maybe you just do communicate very well through eye contact. So I feel like people are, like, really trying to read the subtleties of your body language. People know that you like them before they even talk to you, right? There's something about your body language and something about your eye contact and something about just, like, the energy you send to people that they know when they're approaching you, if, like, they got it like that, or if they just, you know, they just got it like that, you know? Yeah, I feel like, yeah, there's a lot here that has to do with communication on nonverbal levels, and a lot of power, a lot of, like, you shine so bright with this moon card because, well, with a star card, you shine so bright, and with the moon card, I feel like it's because there's a lot of, like, you've done a lot of internal self-exploration, right? The brightest lights have the darkest shadows, or cast the darkest shadows, that kind of thing. You also have zebra coming through. So yeah, when people first see you and when you first walk into this room, this party, yeah, there's even more coming through about intuition with this third eye being illuminated. So there's something very, like, you might be mixed race with the zebra, or at the very least, people might just, like, not be able to pinpoint, like, they're like, what are you? Oh God, if I had $1 for every time people ask, and I quote, what are you? Your girl would be sitting well, okay? Let me just say that. So I wouldn't be surprised if people are like, what are you? Like, what is your race? What is your ethnicity? What is your cultural background? And at the same time, there was that element that I felt instantly with the star card of like, you just shine. So I feel like when pile number 3 walks into a room, people are like assume that you're in the creative field, or assume that you're a leader of like a group of people, or that you could be. They think that you could be. There's something very magical about you. There's something very unique about you. So there might be something unique about your hair, about just like maybe you have like body, you know, you've changed something about your body. You have like a lot of piercings or a lot of tattoos, but ultimately you seem very approachable. You seem very mysterious in some senses, but overall very approachable. Like there's a sense of mystery. There's a sense of depth to you that people want to get to know more. And you're very open as well. So again, it doesn't come across like super intimidating. You're just very welcoming. Like people want to be in your space. People want to get to know you more. If anything, I feel like with this phases that I'm seeing, like people are like, okay, when someone has your attention, they're like, all right, let's hurry it up. Let's hurry this process along. Like, all right, let's get this show on the road, because people just want to be in your field and get to know a lot more about you. There's a lot here about you being a visionary too. So, you know, generally people that have like, you know, Aquarian energy and like strongly in their charts, or, you know, someone that just really, you know, that might resonate with being an indigo. So you're someone that just seems like a rebel with a cause, a rebel with a good cause. Like you're not here to fit in any system. You're not here to fit any person's, like you can't fit pile number 3 in a box, and people get this from you. There's a lot of unique qualities about you. Can't fit you in a box. Can't label you. Like very free spirit is what people instantly pick up from you. And they're like, this person like has an inner compass that no one else sees. And like, I feel like you just really follow what feels right to you, the most right to you in each moment. And yeah, you don't really worry about consequences. And it's not that, I get though that you don't worry about consequences because like you have a pure heart. You have pure intentions, pile number 3. So these are people's first impression of you. You're very they have a lot of hope for the planet in general when they see you. Like you leave people feeling like more hopeful that there's really good people out there doing really good things. And yeah, and you allow people to be themselves. There's something about your energy that speaks that like come as you are. And that is very welcoming to other people. People really notice that about you. So this is that's someone whose eye you caught walking into this party. So instantly, that's everything that they felt from you. And they were getting some eye contact. They were getting some body language that was like, okay, pile number 3 is approachable. Let's see what happens when you sit down with them, when they come over and talk to you. Conflict and defeat. Okay, so maybe, so maybe there is an element about you that, like, people approach you, like, you're very welcoming, you're very warming. It's not like this out of this world intimidation factor, but people are, like, worried about being turned down by you, or they're worried about not being able, like, not being what it is that, like, you being disappointed in who they are. Like, I feel like people might also stumble over their words around you, or there's things that people say when they're around you that they're like, why the fuck did I say that? Or like, why did I say it like that? Or did I offend this person? Yeah, it's like people are just like trying to get to your light with this candle. I see him just like fumbling over to get to his light. So people might show their ass when they're around you on accident, because there is, although you're very warming and very welcoming, it's like people get into your field, and it's like so powerful. You have a very powerful field that people are like, they stumble over their words, they stumble over themselves, they wonder if they're good enough for you. There's a lot of like mental fuckery happening when it's like moving in the wrong direction. So I see all these people moving up the stairs, right? Like, and this guy's just like fallen down, bless his heart. So he's like, this is where he wants to go mentally, but like this is where he's going. So it's like he wants to, these people, when someone approaches you, they want to really put their best foot forward with you, whether it's platonic, whether it's romantic. And I feel like sometimes they just are left feeling like they didn't do that. They didn't portray themselves in a way that is an accurate reflection of how they really feel about themselves. I feel like there is a lot of like stumbling over words and like, okay, this is where I was trying to go. Why the fuck did it just go this way? Kind of thing. We have Turtle coming through. So when they talk to you, like, yeah, there's a lot of depth to you. Man, I got a lot of advanced souls drawn to my channel because like all of the cards that could represent like a very old souls are coming through in like all of these piles. So I feel like people could talk to you forever, first of all. Like, I feel like there's no place that I can't explore. Like, once people get over this kind of like, all right, I'm coming over, I'm talking to pile number 1. Once they get over their nerves, I feel like, and they can really start to hold a conversation with you, the conversation is like incredible. There's an incredible amount of depth. They're like, this person is so wise. There's a lot of people too that wonder if they've known you in past lives, if they met you before, or overall there's just like this familiar sense about you. I wouldn't be surprised if pile 3 you have people being like, you reminded me so much of like this person in my life or this person in my life. Like, there's something very healing about being in your field. Very healing, very nurturing. And again, it's so funny that we had this coming up because I feel like you surprise people. Because I feel like where most people might get weird vibes from someone, like some people, like if this person that is approaching you, maybe they've had situations where they've approached someone that is like very warming, that kind of emanates similar energy as you. Maybe they approach someone like that and it doesn't go very well, or they feel very judged. I feel like you see beyond people's just like whatever their insecurities are running out, because ultimately you're such an advanced and old soul that I feel like you draw out the God in other people, or you welcome forth. You create a space where you allow the God in other people to come forward, even if that's not what you would call it. But it's like, come as you are. Yeah, that came through in the beginning. Like, come as you are. Just be who you are. Like, I'm not here to judge you. I'm not here to, put on any type of facade, right? You're just really be as you are. And so I feel like you help, just that alone, you help people heal like immense trauma that has happened in their past when they've been bullied, or when they've been like shut down, or when people only saw their inconsistent personality play itself out, that we all have, right? It's part of taking a human birth. But I feel like you really bring a lot of healing to these people, and this person is very surprised, right? This person that approaches you, they're like, wow, pile number 3, I was not expecting that. I was not expecting them to have so much grace. Like, there's so much grace about you that people will definitely see. We have 6 of Cups, so yeah, further confirming that people feel like they have known you in a past life. Because you are such an ancient soul, you guys, it's really coming through. You've taken birth many, 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 many times. I wouldn't be surprised if you do tend to meet a lot of soul family. It seems like you are just like a social butterfly, but like a cosmic butterfly, where you've been to other planetary systems, because we have the star and we have the moon, so a lot of things about other planets coming through here. And so I wouldn't be surprised if really you meet people and it's like picking up where you left off. It feels like you're picking up where you left off, or very quickly. I feel like very easily you guys can get into like a witty banter, or yeah, it's funny, we have zebra and I'm saying banter, but I feel like it doesn't take long for it to feel like if this person were to stumble and like do something stupid or say something stupid, it's like you would be the type of person, pile number 3, to like say something about it and like call them out, but in like a very non-threatening way, in a really like fun kind of lighthearted way, to kind of make lighthearted, like to bring a lighthearted energy around the situation, and be like, it doesn't fucking matter, like no one cares, this is a human fucking experience, we're all 50 shades of fucked up, like what is going on here? I feel like it just feels like picking up where people left off, and that's part of the reason why, again, when pile number 3 walks in, people are like, I'm so drawn to you, because they remember you, they recognize you literally from other lifetimes. If you are a mom, or if you are a parent, or like a father to, people are like, this is probably a damn good person, a damn good parent. They're also like MILF or DILF. That's a little side note for those of you that do have kids here, what I'm seeing with the 6 of Cups. But yeah, just very nurturing overall. You're very nurturing to people's inner child and to parts of themselves that maybe felt abused, used, and abused in the past. Like, you bring a lot of healing to those elements. We have 7 of Wands. So yeah, this person is like, all of these wands are coming at this person, and it's like they're unfazed. So I feel like, to me, this honestly just reiterates the fact that you were like unfazed by the comings and goings of personality. Honestly, there's so much wisdom coming through here, and so much about you bringing out the authentic versions of people, that I feel like people get so comfortable being around you so quickly. There's a lot of healing that happens in your presence. My pile number 3 is, it's like just being with you, and even in a casual setting, is like a therapy session, or it's like an energy healing session. There's so much healing that happens, and it's like you're very comfortable in all of the different aspects of yourself, all the different conflicting aspects of your own personality, and so that really shows, because then you also welcome that same level of authenticity from other people as well. So yeah, when people are in conversation with you, this person that's in conversation with you, they're like, this person really holds it down. This person really just like knows who they are. And this person can't really be like thrown off from their truth. And this pile number 3 really can't be stirred. It's like you're not easily intimidated, and you're not easily like pulled from your center of truth and what you know to be true, right? We have the 10 of Pentacles, so I feel like too, people just see long-term potential with you, especially with this turtle card coming up too. Yeah, people just want to be wherever you are. People see long-term potential with you. I feel like you make friends very easily, so like your network is consistently expanding with that cosmic social butterfly that came through. Like you build community everywhere you go. There's like this air about you that really brings people together, that makes people feel like they belong somewhere. And again, we have this like huge element of misfit. So you make even the most misfit looks like the zebras on my body. It's like you make the people that feel the most misfit, and like they are the least likely to fit in somewhere, you make even them feel like they fit in somewhere. So they're like, you guys are just like incredible. This is what this person thinks. This is what, when people really sit down with you, they're like, this person is fucking incredible. I'm so glad I met this person. I'm so glad. There's such a level of gratitude for having met someone like you, because like you just by the very nature of you being in tune with your heart, and you being just who you are and authentic to you, it's like you make people feel wanted. You make people feel like they are seen. You just like, people can't get enough of you. People just feel so welcomed, and they want to be in your space. And if you were to build a community, pile number 3, or if you're currently building a community, I'm hearing your people will show up for you. And like, if you at some point, if I would honestly would be surprised if you're not already in the process of building something, just because it comes to you so effortlessly. Like you meet people on the level that is like the most important, which is like, we're all fucking human, right? We're all these spiritual beings having these very unique to our own, according to our own soul's blueprint, our own experiences. Yet at the same time, it's like you meet people, like you see beyond the play. And you really meet people in the place that is the most important, and that makes the most difference. So I'm hearing even years later, for some of you, there's people that you met 10 years ago that are still thinking about you, and that are still thinking about the immense amount of change you've made. I'm hearing you've always been this way. Pile number 3 has always been this way. Pile number 3 has always been very welcoming. They've always been very gracious. They've always been able to make me feel comfortable. You've always been able to help reframe what's happening in people's experiences, and to see it through this spiritual eye, to see it through a different lens of perception, so people aren't judging themselves, so people aren't, beating up on themselves when they do fall, when they aren't victorious, when they show their ass, when they have these very unappealing, undesirable human aspects of themselves and their personality and their life come up. There's, it's like 17 might be a significant number for you guys too. That's interesting. I just noticed it in 2 places, but yeah, I'm just hearing pile 3 has always been this way. And as you mature, as you grow, as you age, as you become wiser, it's like you just become so much more captivating. Like you are a fine wine, pile 3. Like the better you get, the better you get, and you get better every day. And there's a lot here about people just really feeling seen and cherished and honored. And I feel like you collect people, like not in a way of like people are objects, but like you're just a very loyal individual. And you make everyone feel seen. You make everyone feel very appreciated and very honored. And they're like, wherever pile 3 is, wherever pile 3 goes, I will be there, because this is the real deal. Pile 3 is the real fucking deal. We have the four of Cups coming up too. So I feel like this card doesn't fit with the other energies coming through. And so I'm reading this more intuitively. Okay, you guys, I feel like, again, this is reiterating the fact that you don't just take the surface level of things. Like you do not accept, like when people aren't showing their best self, or when people come across scattered, or when people come across like beside themselves, I feel like you don't accept that as being the truth of who they are. You don't like bind them to that. It's like you're like, no, I'm not going to continue to perpetuate these ideas of insecurity in other people. I'm not going to bind people to their personality in general. because ultimately I feel like pile number 3, you really recognize that we're all here with very unique circumstances. We're all here with very unique happenings in our life, but ultimately we all want the same thing, right? And I feel like you don't settle for surface type of relationships, right? You like turn away from people who are just offering you like surface level type of exchanges, or just like offering the bare minimum, or that at the very least aren't at a place of maturity to where they like really want to go into the depths of themselves, right? And so it's like you don't have time. Like you really, I feel like you are so good at building community, because like you recognize when someone is and is not part of your tribe, and that's not even like an exclusive thing, but it's like you have learned how to prioritize your energy for the people that are going to get the most amount of benefit from it, right? For the people that are actually receptive to all that it is that you have to offer. Because I'm hearing you're not for everyone. Pile 3, you are not for everyone, but the people that you are for, you are here for, and they are here for you. And yeah, you guys are here to make really big waves of change on the planet. Let me just say that I'm getting like BDE. I'm getting some BDE from this group, whether or not you have one of those or not. Like your energy is so loud, it's so proud, but like the good kind of pride. And you just here, you make immense change wherever you go. And I feel like you're meant to work with a lot of people if you're not already. Like, I feel like you're here, like, I'm seeing workshops, I'm seeing stages, talking, I'm seeing just, like, groups of people, retreats. I feel like you really bring out the best in other people, and you collect, again, friendships, relationships, lovers, everywhere you go. You are the people for people. You are the leader of leaders, right? Man, I could go on forever, but ultimately people are, like, very, like, you are unforgettable, pile number 3. People want to be in your field. People see you as someone that is so worthy of just like their loyalty and their support in all the ways. I feel like you just gather supporters everywhere because you are just so authentic. You are so authentic, and you don't put on a show, and you draw out that authenticity in other people, and people really feel like, wow, I can be all that I am with all of my insecurities and everything, and this person honors me. This person really sees the truth of who I am and not all these comings and goings. So thank you for your service. Thank you for being part of my channel, for being part of my life, and letting me tune into your energies. This is beautiful. I'm going to leave this here for now. Please give this video a thumbs up if it resonated. Comment down below any synchronicities. Subscribe if you've been here before, and I hope I see you soon. What's up, pile number 4? Welcome to your reading for how POV walking into a party. So I haven't looked at any of your cards. So pile 4, we have a few cards for people's first impression. So like the first person that really takes notice of you, what their first impression is. And then we have a lot more details to come for like what happens when they sit down and start having a conversation with you. So these have been off the chain. These have been incredible, so I'm really excited to get into it. Hold on really quick. Let me just... All right, clumsy Susie. Okay, sorry if your name is Susie, by the way. Okay, so I just had to make sure that the mic was going, and yeah, we're going to get into these readings. Let's get into your cards. So, pile 4 walks into a party. We'll see what kind of party, what kind of vibe it is when we get deeper into it. But the first person that takes notice of you, their first impression. We have emotional withdrawal. Okay, it's 1:11 on the clock, I just saw. We have Earth Mother, feel loved and comforted. And we have the golden egg. All right, there's a lot here that's coming through about comfort. So the first person that notices you, I feel like you would be the type of person, group number 4, that you draw a lot of wounded people to you. It's very clear that you're an empath, right? You're someone that you need a lot of time to yourself to recharge. You're like, if anything, like, what kind of party is this? Maybe you're going to like a book club or something, because I'm getting like mad introverted vibes. But maybe at the end of the day, you're just like an extroverted introvert. That's like definitely what I resonate with. But you're someone that I feel like you really need space to like be in your own energy. Okay. When it gets to the end of the readings, I'm like, okay, stay focused on the purpose of it, because I could just read your guys' energy. But people's first impression is that maybe I feel like, I don't think that you come across intimidated, my pal number 4, but people are just not sure if you're like, people can't get a good read on you at first, right? But overall, you feel very nurturing, you feel very comforting. I mean, some of you guys might be parents, so maybe you guys are meeting up at like Maybe this is like a library, like read along or something. But ultimately, with this golden egg and the mother, I'm just seeing people that are elements of like nurturance, right? And being wrapped up, being cozied up. So I feel like when people see you, this is not something that they're thinking, but they feel like Pile 4 is someone that would bring a lot of healing to me. There's a very healing element about you. When I think of the ocean, I think of the negative ions, right? The negative ions help to diffuse and eliminate like negative energy, or like cross cancels it. And so I feel like that's kind of what people feel from you. It's like you walk into a room and instantly people feel calm. People feel very calm when you walk into a room. Oh, my nose is getting itchy. Okay, that means I'm onto something. People feel very calm when pile number 4 walks into a room. They feel like, you feel very like, some piles were very intimidating for sure, but you feel very approachable. You feel very disarming. That's it. You feel very disarming, pile number 4. Like people feel like they can really show up. There's a lot here about the heart chakra too, with feeling loved and comforted. And then the golden egg, this actually looks like my chest piece. This looks like my chest tattoo that I have right over my heart chakra. But there's a lot here about emotionality. So I feel like people just love you. This is weird, or this is different, but I feel like people just get a really good vibe about pile number 4. You walk into a room and people see you and they're like, oh my gosh, this person feels so sweet. There's this very sweet energy about you, very tender, and I feel like you're very welcoming. There's this purity about you. There's a sense of surrender about you. There's this sense of like you don't put on a show. You guys also might be into nature or go out into nature. So maybe like this party that you guys go to, you're like outside or something. Maybe you're like gathering in the wilderness. But in this pile, it's very clear that you guys are very sensitive empaths, very sensitive souls. And so people might feel this from you too of, generally empaths are very giving of their energy, especially when they haven't developed boundaries. But even then, so it's like you can't help but affect the auric fields of other people. Yeah, you charge other people's fields. That whole thing about negative ions was coming through. You charge other people's negative fields positively. You infuse it with a level of love and comfort. And you're very in tune with higher dimensionals and elementals as well. Butterflies. There's a lot here about transformation. So you're very lovely. You just have a very lovely energy, pile number 4. That people want to get to know deeper, people want to get to know more, and you open people's hearts. People feel very safe to just like, I wouldn't be surprised if you're like there was a point in time where I Ubered, and I'm like, I'm a fucking therapist on wheels, like the things that people would open up to me about, and I'm like, bro, we've known each other for 5 minutes, and there's so many different reasons why stuff like this happens, I get it, but I'm just trying to make light of this, and just, I've been a barista many times before, too, and it's like, I'm just like, sometimes I'm like, you're telling me this? You are telling me these things. Like, do I need to report you? Just kidding. But I wouldn't be surprised if, like, people that you just meet, like, can't help but just, like, pour their entire life story out to you. Because there's something about you that's extremely healing. Pile number 4, you're very receptive. And I feel like if anything, it's like, people need to act, like, consciously be really conscious to give you space to talk, or else I feel like you guys would let other people just talk and take over the conversation. Because there's an element about you that, like, you don't show off. You just would rather let other people just kind of, like, take the reins of the conversation. There's very receptive, very divine mother energy that I'm getting, divine feminine energy. But ultimately, people are very drawn to you from the level of the heart. There are some piles that it's very clear. It's like very lustful type of like lower chakras activated, but it's like the higher chakras are activated when people are in your presence. They feel like everything's going to be okay. Everything they've been through, everything's going to be okay. There's a lot of heart healing that happens in your presence, and people are just like genuinely like feel like this sense of like camaraderie when they see you, and like you give this very maternal and or paternal energy. If you're female or male, you could or could not have kids, but there's something about you that really just like nurtures other people and takes them under their wings and under your wing and just wants to like cocoon them and support them in their growth and their evolution. I'm hearing too that people that don't normally talk or aren't normally social or don't normally go out of their way to like be the first to make conversation, like you attract even those people. yeah, I feel like you just attract such a myriad of different types of personalities that sometimes you're surprised by it too, probably Pile 4. Because you're just like come one, come all. And also it's like when people are drawn to you, there's a it's very significant. It's like really like, okay, this is cool, this is neat. It's like there's a significant activation, a significant exchange of words that is waiting to be had, that is wanting to be had from one higher self to another, right? So yeah, that's people's first impression. Is like, I have business with this person, I want to talk to them. Very loving, very nurtured, very disarmed, right? Very disarming energy that you have. Very compassionate, Pile number 4. So this person sees you, they're drawn to you. They are really liking what they're picking up, what you're putting down, okay? Let's see what happens when they start to have a conversation with you, Pile number 4. Partnerships and alliances. So you make friends really easily. I feel like no matter how introverted you have felt, or, what have you, people genuinely, like, want to be your friend. People genuinely want to work with you. I feel like, too, because you're just so at peace with who you are. And I feel like that's a very rare thing to come around. It's like, there's so many people are so used to, like, this person that's coming up to you is like, I am so used to other people showing up. I'm so used to other people, like, trying to prove themselves and trying to get somewhere and be someone. And because you are just like so unassuming and you're just like, yeah, here today, gone tomorrow. There's like this very nonchalant kind of attitude about you that because of it, I feel like you work a lot, like you don't exert as much effort, it seems, externally, because you're doing the real work of like, all right, I'm not going to go out and launch a bunch of programs because I feel unworthy and I feel like I need to prove myself. I'm just going to sit in my corner, do my work, keep to myself, read my books, whatever. And, what's meant for me is not going to pass me by. And I feel like because you're in that's like what it means to be in alignment with the Tao. That's the Tao Te Ching. There have been books written on what comes to Pile number 4 so naturally. Right? And so because of it, I feel like people come to you effortlessly, situations come to you effortlessly, partnerships, alliances, like there's a lot here about support. People want to give you support. People want to work with you. If that's something you offer, maybe you do work with clients or whatever. So that can mean a multitude of things for my Pile number 4s. But ultimately it's like people got your back. People want to be there for you because they genuinely recognize that like you're the real deal. Pile number 4, you're the real deal. So what else? Yeah, you're very grounding. You're very stable. Yeah, very grounding. There's a lot here that's like, there's a lot of electricity in your field, right, with this lightning in the background, but also at the same time, it's like you're very down to earth. Very down to earth. And the thing about the buffalo is like the most wise being, one of the wisest beings in this animal deck. Because again, it's just like one foot in front of the other. I'm really hearing Pile number 4, you don't rush. People see that like you don't rush to like prove yourself. There's a lot coming here about because you don't try to prove yourself, you say so much. Like you exude like this natural sense of confidence that cannot be imitated. This natural sense of confidence that cannot be like fake it till you make it, right? It's just like, you're like, I have nothing to prove. And maybe in the past you felt like you had a lot to prove and you're like, but then you start to see the fallacy behind it or just like the waste of energy that it is. Like prove what to who and why, Why? People who are also too busy trying to prove something to other people that, they could barely even take notice of what I'm trying to prove to them. You're very wise. You are very wise. And I feel like people's first impression, and then when they get to talk to you, it's like, they're like, wow, Pile 4, there's so much to you that I feel like really surprises people in a good way. And, yeah, you make friends really easily. My beautiful empathic introverts who like, you're like, I just need space to myself. And meanwhile, I feel like you guys are the ones that are getting blown up all the time, or people really want to be in your space and your energy all the time. Because it's just so healing. It's so nurturing. You're the real deal for sure. What else do people see about you? We have strength in reverse. So when things do come up in a reverse position, I do take notice of that. Again, I feel like this is really reiterating the fact that you don't force your strength. You don't force yourself to look a certain way. The thing about strength in reverse is this is a card that talks about like knowing when to not do something. And there's an air of wisdom about that, like knowing when you are pushing so hard, but it's like you're like climbing so hard up a ladder, but you're climbing so hard and so diligently that you don't even recognize the ladder's pushed up against a building you don't even want anything to do with, right? So the thing about my pile number 4 is you guys are, again, you're unassuming in the sense that, like, you don't try very hard. You don't try as hard as other people. People are like, this person does not try hard at all. And because of it, it's like, it's so impressive. It's so impressive to see someone that is truly so at ease and so confident in who they are. Even if you don't feel this way about yourself, again, this is like someone else's perception of you, okay? And this is something I'm hearing, even if you don't feel it in your beginning incarnation, you will grow into it. I promise you will, right? But I am seeing that, again, it's like you don't force yourself on other people. You don't force, like, you really allow things to just happen on their own accord. And again, it's like you choose your battles very wisely, and you oftentimes don't have to pick up a sword. Like, your battles are like, feel like they're fought for you. The way you go about things is very different than a lot of people, is what I'm hearing. And when people sometimes, again, there's this element of surprise, because on the surface you are very like tender and you're very soft and you're very nurturing. But then there's this deep, deep, deep level of just like, there's like huge depth to you, and like this huge like this enormous, there's like a profundity of groundedness about you that really throws people off. Because I feel like sometimes people maybe have assumed that you're just like a pushover, or that you're easy to walk around or walk over. Maybe that's actually something that you're working on, but ultimately I feel like it's become one of your greatest strengths, or it is going to, is the fact that you come across very unassuming, but there's a lot there, right? It's like people don't really know what they're getting themselves into at first glance with you. There's something else coming through about the Strength card, but I can't really pick up on it right now, so I'm going to continue to read, and I'll come back to it when it does come up. We have the King of Swords coming up. That also came up in another pile. I just saw 444 on the clock. So King of Swords, so very perceptive, a lot more perceptive than I feel like people might initially think, because there was so much about the heart coming through. It's beautiful to see that it's balanced with this immense amount of wisdom as well, because that's where that pushover kind of sense can come from. And that's where I was saying, like, you're not that, though. Pile number 4, you're not a pushover. And that's where that you have a beautiful balance of wisdom with compassion, right? And if you have too much wisdom without compassion, that's when you get people that are very cold, and people that just like kind of feel like narcissistic personalities, and like people are like kind of get this weird feeling from. And then people that are too much heart and don't have that wisdom, end up being the martyrs and end up being like the pushovers and the walk all over me, like no boundaries kind of thing. But you guys have a really great balance, and that's definitely this person that's talking to you. When they get to know you more, they're like, this person has a really good balance, like a really good head on their shoulders. I feel like you're able to love more and more deeply, more purely, because you have this air of wisdom about you, and like not overextending yourself, and you know how people see you. I feel like you actually know what people, like, what they assume of you. You know what their assumptions are. You know what their intentions are. And so you don't leave when people actually start talking to you. Like, I feel like you can feel, it's so crazy. You're operating on multi-dimensional levels for sure, because you can feel when someone's perception about you is moving from that assumption, that assumptory place that they first took, and when they're really starting to like be like, oh my god, this person is not what I expected. You guys can feel when that shift happens. My pile number 4. This is great. We have 5 of Swords coming up. We also have the 3 of Wands coming up. So yeah, you are an individual that, you don't, I feel like part of the wisdom that's about you is like, you don't linger when things have expired. You know when the battle is lost. You know when something is dead and done. You know when to walk away from it. I feel like too, the thing about the 5 cards is like the 5s acknowledge things for what they are. So whether it's the 5 of Wands, whether it's the 5 of Swords, 5 of Pentacles, it's like seeing things not as you want them to be or as you wish they wouldn't be, but seeing things for what they actually are. And so I feel like that's where this compassionate sense comes from, and that's why people are like, I love this person. This person is my person, because you don't make it mean any more or less than what it is. Like, you're very humble. You guys are extremely powerful, but like very humble. And that, I feel like that's true. The true type of leaders on our planet are those beings that have mastered that very delicate type of coexistence. Is like, you see things for what they are, right? But you don't take the bait of your insecurities meaning anything, and you don't take the bait of like these moments of victory meaning anything. You're just like, this is what it is. This is what it is today, and let's see what it's going to be tomorrow. And so I feel like people see you going very far in life. People see you like moving around a lot. People assume that you have a lot of connections, that you have a lot of great people on your team. I feel like people assume great opportunities are going to fall in your hands, or maybe this is something that they already see happening for you, that good things happen for you. They're like, good things happen. Like, even though these people have just gotten out of the battle, like, look at this person is just smiling. So no matter what happens in your life, pile number 4, like, I feel like one of the reasons why people are like, I want to be on this person's team, and like, this is a long-term friendship, they see such longevity with you, is because people feel like they can celebrate their victories and their losses with you. And that people feel like they can just partake in the human experience without putting on a show, without making it anything more or less than what it is, because you have such an air of just like complete acceptance of things as they are. And it's not to say that you don't push forward. The buffalo is the ultimate card of like pushing forward, but it's done so in a very relaxed way. It's done so in a way that's not hurried to get somewhere, because again, you're not trying to prove yourself. Like, you're so different. And I feel like this is probably what people probably say this to you, is like, you were just like so unique, or like there's something about you that's just so different, and you're just a breath of fresh air to be around, pile number 4. And you have a lot of support. People assume that you have a lot of support, or a lot of people on your team, or that you're just like surrounded by really good people. They see this, they assume this, and they see a lot of great opportunities coming your way. And I feel like people, when this person that's talking to you, or people, you know, in this type of setting, they're like, this is only the beginning for this person. No matter how fresh you are in your path, or no matter how far you are in your path, people are like, this is just the beginning, because they feel like there's so much more. I don't want to say untapped potential, but it's just like potential that you're not in any rush. You're just allowing it to flower when it's meant to. And because so, if anything, that actually accelerates our timeline. So I feel like that's why it seems like things happen so quickly for you. Even though it seems like you're just over here in your corner minding your own business. You're really minding to your business of like the energetics, you know, being, going out, taking time to yourself, taking time to contemplate, really taking time to connect with your higher self and to connect with spirit. And that's like where you get this like powerhouse of like this energy that's like so grounding, but also there's like such a powerful force behind it. And that's why it's like, you know, that's why it's like that phrase of sharpening an axe, right? If it took you 5 minutes, spend the first 3 minutes, or if you're going to chop down a tree, spend the first 3 minutes sharpening your axe, and the last 2 is actually chopping the tree, because the condition of the axe is more important than what you're actually doing. Pile number 4, you understand your internal conditions, how open you are on a heart level, how authentic you're being. Like, that's first and foremost. The rest takes care of itself. And I feel like people, when they hear your story, when they hear you speak, when they're in your field, you give people a really different way to look at life and how it could be. And that you can actually exist from realms of being like a very soft-spoken powerhouse. And that peace really can move mountains, right? Peace is the way. Gentleness is the way. And I feel like you really show people that they don't have to be this like force field of like a show of strength. Whether you're masculine, whether you're feminine, male or female, doesn't matter. But I feel like you really do, you gather people of all different backgrounds, because you're just you, because you're connecting, you reside in that place that connects us all together, and that's the heart, right? And so other people that are also living from that area cannot help but be drawn to you, or that, you know, who are ready to embody more of those codes. They can't help but be drawn to your field. So this is so beautiful. I don't know if that strength thing came through, ended up coming through again, but there's just like, it stands out to me. I feel like more so because, again, there's a lot here about like, you don't force, like your strength is very unassuming, right? Your strength is one that is like, it's that saying of, you know, water being the most powerful element, right? Because it can actually take mold, right? There, who said that? Like, be like water, because when you put water into a glass, it becomes a glass. When you put water in like a vase, it becomes a vase. But also, if you look at water can carve out streams and carve out divots in the strongest mountains, right? So it's like your show of strength is like a show of purity. you really show how purity is like true strength. Purity, compassion, peace, etc. So this is so beautiful. I'm like so honored to have read for you guys today, pile number 4. This is what people's first impression is. This is what happens when they get to know you more. They are just like astounded, and they're like, purity exists. Like, man, divinity incarnate for sure. So if this video resonated, please give it a thumbs up. Please comment any synchronicities down below. Anything else, comment down below. Please subscribe if you've been here before, and I hope I see you soon.